Creating a Flutter project with Antigravity is easy, but keeping it architecturally sound is the hard part. If you are manually fixing folder structures or rewriting models, you are losing time. In this lesson, we are automating that. I'll show you how to use rules to ensure every model is immutable and scales to scaffold a production-ready MVVM structure with one command. We are going from a clean uninstall to a fully automated workflow that handles the setup, dependencies, and testing for you. Let's get into the configuration. Okay, so my Antigravity is up and running, and I have created an empty workspace or empty folder. At this point, what we can do is we can simply start typing in this chat prompt. Antigravity's built-in agents chat prompt. And if I hit send, then we know that Antigravity will create an entire Flutter project. But what if we want more? What if we say that our project or the default starter project should come with provider as a primary state management solution? What if we want GoRouter as a primary navigation system? What if we want the MVVM pattern? So every file should go inside the corresponding folders. One way to do that is we have to provide all this information inside this chat box, and perhaps we save the chat prompt somewhere else in our notepad or document file, and every time we open Antigravity and try to create a new Flutter project, we copy that prompt and paste it over here. So this is one way, but there is a more structured way. Inside Antigravity, inside this IDE, we have some built-in structure and tools that will allow us to set some rules and scales for our agent to follow exactly what we want. And this is what I'm going to do right now. I will still create a new Flutter project, but this time agent will follow strictly some rules, and also we will provide some scales. And if you want to know more about scales and rules about Antigravity, then you can go to Antigravity official website, then resources, documentations, and from here you can find this tab where it says about the rules, how to define rules, what kind of rules we have. We have global rules. These rules will actually apply to entire Antigravity, all the workspaces. No matter what you create with Antigravity, Flutter project or web project or native Android project, the rules will be applied for all workspaces. The rules can be applied to workspace only, for a specific workspace, for example, in our case, for a specific Flutter project. And the rules are simply put inside a markdown file. And if you want to put the rules as global, then you have to put all the rules inside gemini.md file that you need to create under this directory. You have to go to your drive and users, for Windows, because I'm sitting on a Windows machine, and this is the user, and from here .gemini folder, and here you have to create a markdown file, and inside that markdown file you have to put all the rules that you want to apply globally. And if you want to put the rules for a specific workspace, then you have to follow this structure. In the root project structure, a root directory, you have to create .agents directory, then under rules, and under that you have to define rules. You can create multiple markdown files and name it appropriately. And also there is a scales section where you can define scales like set of instructions, like scales are reusable packages of knowledge that extend what the agent can do. Scale contains instructions for how to approach a specific type of task, in our case, how to create a Flutter project, and best practices like MVVM, and also optional scripts and resources. And there is a specific rules for writing scales if you scroll down a little bit. But before we do that, see the rules. This is the structure. This is where we should put all the markdown file for the scales. After .agents directory, we need to create another scales directory, then another directory naming the scale, and inside that directory you have to put your scale.md file. And inside that scale.md file, this is the pattern. You should give a name of the scale. You should provide a description. This is mandatory. You have to provide this, and you have to describe explicitly what this scale is all about. And this is the scale name, just like that, and detailed instruction for the agent to go ahead. When to use this scale and how to use it. So this is the pattern. And for the rules, this is also a markdown file, just like a YAML file. You give a name and follow some indentations. That's it. There is no specific rule syntax given in these documentations, but this will be something like that. Let's head over to our IDE here. And first of all, I will create a rule first. And the rule will all about creating a Dart model classes, because in our project, we often need the model classes to store data like person, employee, students, products, to do, etc. So what if we want our model classes to have some specific things, like we want all the properties final, we want all the maybe we want the constructor arguments as required final, then we want the to JSON, from JSON, we want overridden methods like toString, hash codes, equals, copy with method. This can be defined as a rule. So whenever we ask our agent to create a model class, then agent will follow those rules. So to create a rule inside a workspace, we have to create the .agents directory first. This is the same for both rules and scales. So here I'm going to create a new folder and name it as .agents. And under this agents directory, I'm going to create another folder, which is rules. And under this rules directory, I'm going to create a new file name. Let's say it is data_model.md. So this is basically an IDE where we can describe the rule for agent to follow using Markdown. And here's some activation mode. When should this rule will be applied? So we have some options. If we select always on, then this rule will be applied every time agent will try to create a model class. So we don't have to specify in the chat prompt that you need to follow this rule or that. For rules, this option will be perfect. Okay, so we have other options like manual. If we choose that, then we have to manually say our agent to follow this particular rule, and model decision and glob. So this should be always one, and here we need to provide or write the rules for creating a Dart model classes. So I already have rules. What I'm going to do, I'm going to simply copy from somewhere and paste it over here. So I'm going to paste. So this is the rules. Simple markdown file. We have the name and like we have the value, just like JSON. So this is the name and this is the value. So what is the context? The context is applies to all data classes and entities within the lib/models directory. And the goal is ensure 100% immutability and provide standard methods for data manipulating and debugging. And these are the requirements. Immutability, that means all class properties must be declared as final. Use required name arguments for all properties to ensure clarity and safety. Serialization, always implement toJSON and a factory from JSON. Utility methods like copy with, object comparison, overriding the equals operator, and string representation provided to a string method. So these are the rules, and make sure that you save this file. And you may be wondering how I wrote these rules. Actually, I didn't write this rule myself. I simply opened Gemini and just told Gemini what I want to do, or I just asked Gemini to write a rule for anti-gravity that I want to create a model class, and every time I want to create a model classes, this should be inside the model classes, and Gemini actually provided this, all the writings. So now we have defined a rule. Now we will define a scale. And the scale, like I told you, in simple terms, scales are simply a series of tasks. I mean, in our case, we want to create a Flutter project with some tools already installed. So agent already knows how to create a Flutter project, how provider works, how to integrate, implement the GoRouter, or how to structure all the files in MVVM pattern. So we need to group them together as a scale. And scales should go inside another directory. So under agents, I need to click that agents, and under while selecting or putting the cursor on agents, I need to press the right button, and then I need to create a new folder, and the folder name should be scales. Okay, so now under .agents, we have two directories, one for rule and one for scales. So this data_model.md file is under rules, and if you want to create another rule, then simply create another md file under this rules directory. And now inside these scales, perhaps you want to create more scales in future for different purpose. For that purpose, you have to create directories. For example, we need to create a scale for creating a new Flutter project with some specifications. That's why I'm going to create another new directory under scales. So new folder, and let's name it as create Flutter project, or you can give any name you want, but that should be meaningful. And now under this folder, I'm going to create a new file, which will be scales.md. I want to make sure that the folder name should be like this. Okay, so agents scales directory name skill.md, not skills, okay? And this is in all caps. I don't know whether it is necessary or not. This is the convention, so we should follow the convention. And this should be not skills, okay? I'm going to rename this. I'm going to rename this, and I'm simply say skill.md. So this is another markdown file, and here I'm going to paste some content, and these are the skills. So if you look at the documentation, the skills should be in this format. I mean, the skill should have a name, this skill should have a description, and also like a title, and then detailed instruction for agent, when to use the skill, how to use it. And if you look carefully, our prompt or a skill contains all the, or follows all the necessary syntaxes. So this is the name, which is Flutter Starter Scaffold. Okay, that's the name that Gemini actually provided. And description: use this skill to initialize a professional grade Flutter project. It scaffolds an aesthetic counter app using MVVM provider and GoRouter. If you want more tools or more libraries included in your starter project, you can simply put it here. And this is the name actually, and when to use this skill. So use this whenever the user asks to create or start a new project, or create a starter app, or initialize a professional counter app. So whenever we give in a chat prompt this kind of phrases, then the agent will look into the skill. And the implementation rules, the platform and environment, it already says that we should only create project for by targeting Android and iOS, not Linux or Windows or Mac OS. You can put all this if you want to target all those platforms. And also add the following dependencies like provider and GoRouter. And these are the directory structure. So we want our directory to be like this. So the router.dart file should be inside lib under lib/core/router.dart. All the models should go inside lib models. View models should go inside lib view models, and views should go inside libs views and services. And the architecture implementation, MVVM provider, this and that, and so on. And don't forget to save these files. So now with these skills and rules, we can create our desired Flutter project or counter app by simply providing prompt in our agent chat prompt. So we can say create a new Flutter project, and we can simply hit send button. Or if you be more specific, if you're not sure whether agent will use this skill set while creating a new Flutter project or not, we can refer to this skill inside our chat prompt by simply providing this @sign. And if we type, like now you see in the suggestion list, we have this Flutter Starter Scaffold skill, this name over here. Okay, so if I now just mention this, now agent will go inside this skills.markdown file and follow all the skills that we have set, and it will use them to create a new Flutter project. And when I hit send, you should look very carefully what the response generates. So let's hit send. Now this is very important. You see that analyze create Flutter project, and then in the next line you see Flutter Antigravity rules skills. It actually looked inside the skill.md file as well as the rules. In the process of creating this Flutter project, Antigravity or agent will create a model class for holding the counter value, for the counter app. In that process, agent will need to create a model class, and that's why agent actually looked inside our rules data model.md file, rules over here, and we set the rules as always on. And before it creates the Flutter project, it actually gave us an implementation plan, and we should read the implementation plan. And it says it will create the project directory like this, like libcore, models, views, and services. And it will create a router.dart file, and it will create counter view model, it will create a counter view, and also it will create a main.dart file, etc. And that's it. I think we should give a green signal to our agent to go with this implementation plan, and simply click this review, and from here say proceed and hit submit. And at this point, all we have to do is wait. And also we need to access or give permission to our agent to run this specific command like Flutter create. So hit run. It already started creating all the directories and files. So we have only this Android and iOS folder. And inside lib, we have only this main.dart file. And this is the task list. So it will try to add the dependencies first, provider and GoRouter, and it will try to add or run this command to add provider and GoRouter. We should allow this. And then it will create the directory structure like this. Then this router, this counter view model, this and that. Okay, so run again. So currently it is creating the directory structure, and as you can see, that we have now a models directory. Inside we have this counter.dart file, and if you look very carefully, this counter.dart file have all the stuff that we needed. I mean, a final property, a required named argument, from JSON to JSON, copy with operator overloading, and a hash code, and also the twist string. If you want, you can click this button, accept changes. Now run again, Flutter analyze. Okay, so for the last time we need to click this accept all button, and all the files will be changed or accept the changes, and it has created a walkthrough. I mean, what it has done so far. You can read the walkthrough file step by step. And the most important thing is all the files in a proper structure. I mean, inside this lib we have this core where we have router.dart, where the GoRouter is initialized and defined. Inside model we have this counter.dart file. Inside view model we have the change notifier where the state is defined, and also the public APIs to modify the state. And also inside these view directories we have the view, and inside main.dart file we have the my app stateless widget. Now the only thing remains, which is we need to run this application. We can run this application in our browser. I'm going to simply ask this agent to run this application on a default browser. So let's say run app on default browser and hit enter. So this is the output. This is how our app actually looks like. We have this counter app, we have this plus button, this minus button, this reset button, and also we have another button to increment, and the name is counter MVVM. So we just set a rule and scale in a local workspace. And I told you, if you want to set rules and scales globally, then you have to just change the directory. But creating the rules and scales will be the same. So if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel for more updates. And you can share this video to your friends, and stay tuned.